Hi, this is George Swift from Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, the Mindset for Success, and today I want to talk to you about this little bit of kit over my shoulder here. Each year I set myself a challenge, a new hobby. I pick something and give it a go for a year and see how it sits with me. Last year was drumming, this year is amateur astronomy. Now, I'm quite into astronomy. I quite like the idea there's this whole other universe that's out there that we only get a glimpse of in the night sky. So one of my goals this year is to clearly see Jupiter and to clearly see Saturn. Now, that's a bit of a challenge on this kind of kit. However, yesterday I did realise one of those dreams, one of those goals, and I did see Jupiter through it. And I also saw Jupiter's moons. Now, what surprised me is I didn't have to go too magnified before it was obvious that Jupiter wasn't just another star, that it starts to take on, if you like, some body, it starts to take on some weight to it, but also you can start to see those moons around it as little stars, if you like, around Jupiter. Now, what's fascinating for me is that I did actually go more magnified and see more detail, and I got to see some of the stripes, etc., on its surface. But it didn't take a lot to see these new moons and to see Jupiter as an actual planet as opposed to just one of the stars that when we look up that we see. 2 months ago, I couldn't have spotted Jupiter out there if my life depended upon it, and I'm sure maybe most of you don't know where Jupiter is if you just look up at the stars. So it just looks like one of the brighter stars until you zoom in and you see this whole other world going on, these 4 moons and everything else. Anyway, the point I got to thinking about was, all it took was a couple of pieces of glass that gave a certain different perspective to what I was looking at in the night sky, and I got to see this whole other world unfold before me. And you know what? Life isn't too dissimilar. Quite often we're so fixed in our viewpoint of life that we only get to see it in the way that we've always seen it. And actually, most of the time, just like the stars, we don't even take notice of it. And then suddenly, you know what? It takes us a little step to the side. We change how we're looking at it. Maybe we need to magnify it a little bit, take a bit more detail in, and suddenly we start to see things with a new clarity, a new perspective, and new meaning, deeper meaning. So actually, for me, that's a real strong metaphor for what I do as a mindset mentor, as you know, the mindset mechanic, is help people to see the world through a different lens. And by doing so, you start to have a very different experience of the world that you are currently living in. It then starts to alter how you interact with that world, and of course then we start to get better results in the world. But it all starts by being open and willing to see the world, the universe, your life, in a slightly different way. Knowing that there's more out there, we just need to find it. We just need to see it. We just need the right pieces of glass to magnify it in the right way. And there's a whole other life out there for us to take in and to exist in and to live in. So it's a bit fluffy. However, I think it's a very strong metaphor because we just get so tunnel focused. Most of us, we're not looking out into the heavens, we're looking at our own feet. The next 1 step, 2 step, and we're looking in the mirror and seeing the same old life, the same old person over and over and over again. And after a while, we stop seeing the detail, we stop seeing the possibility, and we stop seeing that there's something out there just a little bit beyond what we can currently see. It could be a bigger self, a brighter self, a bolder self, a braver self. It could be more success in any area of life. So, you might not want to take up astronomy. However, maybe put your own life under the microscope a little bit and start to see life in a different way and see what is out there for you.